So this came out on Saturday the 18th this year. So I believe these are key takeaways. So Snoop Dogg has joined the list of celebrities performing at the inauguration event for Donald Trump. So you see Nelly here. He's also, I believe, on the list. A person wearing glasses, a black Dior top. And you got Snoop Dogg. He's much older. Think about it. They're much older rappers now. They're not young. They're not in their 20s. They're not even in their 30s anymore. A lot of these guys are in their 50s. Yesterday, the rapper played the crypto ball in Washington D.C. This was basically, you see it posted here. He hosted by David Sachs, Trump's crypto Cesar pick. It was to celebrate the incoming inauguration. So you see him here. And Snoop is just one of many performers that lined up for Trump's inauguration event. According to CNN, Nelly will reportedly attend the Liberty inaugural ball on Monday, where Trump is also expected to be in attendance. This is NBC News report. So the rapper Rod Wave, Kodak Black, now if I say the names wrong, forgive me, Fivio Foreign, they'll also allegedly attend this event. So you can see them pictured in still photos here. That's Nelly. And that one is Snoop alongside with Trump. So it says news obviously came as a shock to lots of people, especially when it came to Snoop, of course, given how outspoken he is in the previously about Trump and some of his antics. So I'm going to stop here. This is what I believe. It's about money. And, for them to attend these events and to play in the inauguration and to perform, I believe it all is centered around money, because this is my opinion. I believe that if you look at the way things are going, people are so concerned with money, and that is what the whole thing is. It's about money. And money over people, money over people's feelings, money over everything. And that's the way these people are operating, even if it means there's going to be people that they go against that might cancel them, that have bruised feelings. It's money over anything. And that attitude not necessarily is a good thing. It just shows you the mindset of people. No matter what background or nationality they come from, money is the center of everything for some people. And I've been paying close attention to, somewhat of attention to the way Snoop kind of moves here in Inglewood, California. What he has done is he at one while across from the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, he had it was sort of like a souvenir shop, and he closed it. I guess the business wasn't doing as well as he thought it was. His wife had opened up a stripper club downtown LA, not far. And Snoop, he still has a clothing store in the a boutique in the strip mall where he had the souvenir shop. So he's no longer, he no longer has the souvenir shop open, but he does have a dispensary shop in Ladera Heights that is open. And I believe it had opened not very long ago. He is about the money over people, and I feel deeply that that's what his move is. And if it means you have to cross over and you have to appease to another audience or class of people, if it means it's going to bring in more revenue which is money. I believe that's where the mindset of these individuals are. Excuse me, I'm going to take a brief pause here. That's a big spider. He's huge. Same area as spiders are. So I'm so freaked out by spiders. But I believe that that's where a lot of this is coming from. I don't know if you can see my screen. I tried to record my screen so you can see the still photos of Snoop posed with Donald Trump. Now, before Donald Trump was president, there was a time when he was just a celebrity, a name before presidency and politics. He had a following of rappers even back as early as the 80s because it was about the money. And there used to be this show called the Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and I believe he was pictured on there among other rich and famous notables, people who are in the money. And some people, that's what they gravitate to. So if it means making more revenue, if it means broadening their followers to gain more money and gain more followers at the same time to attract more people, then some people will do whatever they have to do to build up their audience. And think about it. Snoop is not in his 20s or 30s. He's not back in the days where he comes from Long Beach and he's struggling to try to get his name out there. He's a brand now. And in order for that brand to survive, he has to continue to build his following and his people. And if it means he has to change his audience up so that he can have a new group of individuals, then that's what he's going to do. So I turned it down. You heard that? Sorry about that. I believe that's what's going on, honestly. So I believe there are some people who, no matter what, they're very loyal to the community. They're very loyal to their people and their fan base, and they don't choose to attract people that they're not connected to, so to speak. And I think there are other individuals who speak out against that whole thing, and they are not really that excited about supporting someone who is so vitriol on their platform as Donald Trump has been in the past with how his ideas are. So okay, so you can see some of the comments that are pouring in about Snoop and how people feel, and not everybody is on board with it, and some people have been very, very vocal on X about how they feel. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Snoop Dogg is playing for the Cheeto. So this is actually devastating. I'm so damn bummed. So there's a lot of people who are disappointed, and I'm not gonna repeat all of the comments, and you can just look at them on X at some of the people. Snoop and Nelly tap dancing for massa is how we're starting off 2025. So this is on X, a comment that was made. I repeated that one. Nelly might need the money and the visibility, but Snoop doesn't. Either way, I'll never see either of them the same. So these are some of the comments of how people feel. Snoop, Rick Ross, Nelly performing for Trump. Ooh wee, look at that money make a bee do. So it's sort of like some people got the idea of what this is about, that I'm getting that other people are feeling the same sense, in a respect that this is about money. And Nelly, we haven't heard, or I haven't personally, I haven't heard of him do anything recently, and he's older. I believe it's for the notoriety, to still be relevant, to gain more followers. So if they have business ventures, people will be more apt, those individuals that support Trump, if they think their face is attached to Trump, that they can build more clientele and more money. And I'm just going to tell you this. Snoop didn't put anything in these neighborhoods in South LA. He would come, like, you would hear of him maybe he made some donations or contributions during Thanksgiving. I remember hearing about that, how he'd go to the forum, and he'd help pass out, like around the holidays, he would pass out turkeys, and he'd be there for events like that. But he didn't have any shops that were up that we could just go in there and be like, let's buy this, this is, he's supporting our community. We didn't see that. He didn't start putting those little boutiques up and those businesses until they started gentrifying Inglewood. When they started gentrifying the neighborhoods, or the hoods, and we started seeing white people moving in, and I'm just being honest about this, when we started seeing a shift in the cultures of people that were moving out or moving in or moving around and about, and they started building these luxury apartments which look like penthouses. They have these two buildings that are built up, and some people thought that they were like condos, or they look to be like penthouse apartments, and they're right smack dab next to the SoFi Stadium and the IKEA Forum. What used to be the Great Western Forum is now the IKEA Forum in Inglewood, California. And one of the apartments is called the Crosby, and the other one is called the Wesley. If you just look online at those apartments and see what they're priced, you see who they're trying to attract. And their selling point is the fact that you can, you don't even have to pay for parking to go to the football stadium. You can walk over there. You're in the middle of all of the entertainment. You're next to the shopping centers. You're next to the football stadium. You're next to the concert, the IKEA Forum. You're next to everything that, everything is just a walk away, and we're here to take your money. So you're either going to be somebody that has a lot of money, and you just, you're rolling in the dough, and you don't mind living like that, because, their amenities it's not like just a washer and dryer and a dishwasher and things like that, and a microwave built in. No, it is a gym, a jacuzzi, a tennis court, maybe a swimming pool. You got a lounge, a theater, you're next to the YouTube theater, and you're next to the football stadium. You're next to a casino, which is Hollywood Park Casino. You're next to your concert, local concerts, and you're next to, all of the things that you could think of. And now the Clippers basketball stadium is right down the street. You're in the thick of it all, so you're paying for all of that. And who would pay for that? And they think either really, really wealthy people or really, really rich, wealthy people who got money to blow, you know. So that, I believe, is the reason why a lot of this is happening. So I'm gonna pan up. I don't know if you see the same screen that I'm looking at, but those were some of the comments. And I believe this video is showing probably a woman tap dancing.
I'm so in shock. I'm in shit.
That's pretty much how it goes. I mean, think about it. You have these rappers and they call themselves from the hood, and, you know, truly. So it's like, I don't know if you can see that comment. Snoop Dogg truly stands for nothing and will do anything for a check, cuz wasn't he just saying F that man or fuck that man not too long ago? Now he's about shuck and jive for him. Son of a mother. So, yeah, it's like he was like loud in his comments about how he felt about Trump. But when you're getting paid and when somebody's talking to you and telling you, you know, you're not 20, 30, 40, not even 40, you're not even your 40s, you're just a brand, you're old school, and you're gray and you're old, and you know, you got a brand, and if you don't stay relevant and keep your brand up and broaden your audience, because, you know, black people, there's only so many of them that are going to support you. You're going to have to open up your brand to a broader base of fan folk. And if that means white people who are MAGA people who support Trump, then by all means. And I believe that's where a lot of this is coming from. I'm kind of clicking on some of this to see, and those of us know also that they are a lot older than when they started out. These guys aren't in their 20s or 30s or 40s even. These guys are in their 50s, or they're almost in their 50s, or they're well into their 50s. So yesterday, the rapper played the crypto ball in Washington, D.C., hosted by David Sachs, Trump's crypto Cesar pick, to celebrate incoming administration. So this was Snoop Dogg right here. And you see him pictured here. Snoop Dogg is just one of many performers lined up for Trump's inaugurational events. According to CNN, Nelly will reportedly attend the Liberty inaugural ball on Monday, which is today. So, where Trump is also expected to be in attendance, NBC News reports that rappers Rod Wave, Kodak Black, and Fivio Foreign will also allegedly attend the events as well. So here in a still photo is pictured Nelly. The news obviously came as a shock to lots of people, especially when it came to Snoop, given how outspoken he was previously about Trump. And so he was very outspoken. So here's another still photo of Trump standing alongside with Snoop Dogg, better known as Calvin Broadus. So although he seemed to have warmed to Trump since Trump pardoned his Death Row Records peer Michael Harris in 2021, people were still surprised by his decision to perform for the twice impeached politician. Snoop Dogg is playing for the Cheeto. So this is people's comments on X, which is rather interesting, but it's telling how people feel about this. Says Snoop Dogg is playing for the Cheeto. This is actually devastating. I'm so damn bummed. So you can see the reaction here. And then it says, I say this with all disrespect. Fuck Snoop Dogg and honestly anyone agreeing to perform at this bullshit inauguration. Snoop Dogg truly stands for nothing and will do anything for a check, cause wasn't he just saying fuck that man not too long ago? Now he's about to shuck and jive for him? Son of a mother. So these are just some of the comments. They had strong words for him and everyone else. Snoop and Nelly tap dancing for Master is how we're starting off 2025. This is probably the most funniest meme of all.
I'm so in shock. I'm in shit.
So that's pretty much how people feel about this whole thing. And I gotta give it to them. A lot of people's comments are hitting the nail on the head. Nelly might need the money and the visibility, but Snoop doesn't. Either way, I'll never see either of them the same. Snoop, Rick Ross, and Nelly performing for Trump. Ooh wee, look at that money make a bitch do. Snoop and Nelly performing at the inauguration is wild, G. What the kind of shit? Did you see that? Let's play that reaction again, y'all. That is so funny. These memes are really hitting. They're hitting. I mean, I like this one as well. The reaction, I feel the same way, honestly. I can't lie. Okay, so this is my personal opinion here. Now, this is what I've witnessed. And so in Inglewood, California, there used to be like a little souvenir shop that was in a strip mall right over from the SoFi Stadium that Snoop had opened, but he closed it. Now, I don't know why he closed. I'm guessing it didn't make as much money as he had anticipated, but he kept the clothing store open. It's still in the same little strip mall right across from where the YouTube theater is and where the IKEA, what used to be the Great Western Forum is the IKEA Forum. He has like a small boutique right over there, and then I noticed he also didn't open anything over here until they started rebuilding the Inglewood community, and when they started pretty much gentrifying it. And I was thinking then that he's thinking, it's about the money, maybe we can attract those people that are going to the football game or the basketball game, because they open Clipper Stadium, they have a football stadium, they have the IKEA Forum, which holds concerts and events, and then they have the YouTube theater, and then they have these two complexes that they built smack dab in the middle of all of it. And anybody living in the surrounding areas, you pay a higher amount of rent because you live in those areas close to all of those amenities. The further away you live from stadiums, what I've discovered in California, the less rent you pay. So some people have moved away because of the gridlock of traffic when these events occur. There's a lot of heavy traffic when there's football games or basketball games or concert events. People have kind of gotten over the fact of living over here. Yeah, there's a lot of things over here like shopping centers, but the traffic and the rudeness and, the gridlock, it's just, unbelievable. And sometimes people are over it. And then there's a lot of high level of ticketing. There's only places that you can park if you have your license plate registered with the city of Inglewood, and if you don't, you can only park so many vehicles for so many hours. You have to be a resident here or somebody that is friends with someone over here to have somewhere to park, and if you don't, you're gonna get heavily ticketed, or who knows what. Your car could get impounded. So some people are over it. So that's the reason why you have people moving out, because the high rents, the high taxes, and then all this ticketing that they do. So yeah, I get it. What I do notice is that when these neighborhoods didn't have all of this gentrification and all these stadiums, you didn't see any of Snoop Dogg's businesses over here. But as soon as they started building up the area and putting a lot of the stadiums up, and they've got also the Hollywood Park Casino is over in Inglewood still, even though there's no longer a racetrack, that they tore that down. They have all these other new features added to the city. That is what brings in more money, more revenue. More people are going to be consumers, and it's about the money. And that's when we saw the clothing shop for Snoop Dogg in Ladera Heights. He has a dispensary that he opened over there, and those seem to be doing well. And his wife has a strip club in the downtown of LA. And what I'm hearing more recently, and this is from people that I've heard in the neighborhood, said that I don't know if it's him or her that is going to buy. There was this old strip club on Florence and Western called the Right Track. If anybody is old school and you know anything about that, I'm hearing they might buy that and open it up and make it a strip club. And it might be co-ed, where there's both women and female and male strippers. So I don't know. I heard it through the wire, or through the grapevine, that is. So it's about the money, honestly. I believe it's not so much that he's supporting Donald Trump. I believe he's supporting that Trump money. And that money comes from the supporters, the MAGA people who will support a face that's connected to Donald Trump. It's not so much that you are in line with what he says and does. It's the fact that it's money over people and over feelings. And I believe there are people that are like that. And think about it. These guys, they can't do what they did when they were in their 20s and 30s. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying nobody's really checking for a rapper that's 50, 60 years old. So he might be a producer. He might be helping the younger ones get out there and promote their music. And I'm not saying that he's not as entertaining, but what I'm saying is he's older, and what their ideas are now is about building and maintaining relevance and wealth. And when you get a certain age, that's what it's usually about. Retirement. What are you going to do when you no longer can perform on stage and do some of the things, all the traveling? You want to stay home and be with your grandkids, or you want to enjoy life as an older person, and your mind is thinking now long term, what do you do to pass on to your kids? And so this is probably the mindset of these guys, and that's probably why a lot of them are looking at, well, we're not selling our albums like we used to when we were younger. We're not in these groups like we used to be. We're not as relevant as we used to. We're not a face anymore. You got all these new artists out, and it's a new culture, a new generation of people, listeners. And what we did in the 80s and 90s, yeah, that's classic, but we're not doing that style now. It's different. Ice Cube, the same thing. So that's probably why they have aligned themselves, which is unfortunate, because you're thinking that this is inauguration and this is on a day which is MLK Day, and it stands for civil rights, and these are the people who want to try to undo or reverse things. Why would you sidestep and go for like what someone referred to as old massa? So, which I get it. I'm not siding with these guys. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think it's going in a good place, because eventually it's going to be their legacy and they have to live with it. And so, two, I don't know if you all heard that the inauguration was supposed to happen outside, and as always, it has happened outside, but they had decided to divert that whole event and bring it indoors because of what they claim is the cold weather. And in the past, as I recall, it was always very cold out there in DC around that time. What I do believe now, this is in my harmless opinion, is because of that CEO killing. And when people are outdoors with all the vitriol language that Donald Trump has displayed in his past campaigns, which were not that long ago, it led up to him being elected, and the vitriol that he spews on the mic, I believe that there's death threats, and we're not hearing about that, and CIA hears about it, FBI hears about it, and the feds and whoever else. So they alert him, it would be better for you to be indoors so that we wouldn't have any sharpshooters or anybody that's perched on a rooftop like what happened when you were outdoors public speaking, because they can't survey all the scene. They probably will have people out, people, Secret Service, looking around and scanning the area, but you can only have so many eyes. But trust me, if somebody wants to get rid of you, even whether you're indoors, outdoors, they're going to find a way. There's other events he's going to attend, and he's not always going to be indoors. And he's, it doesn't matter if he's in or outdoors. If somebody really wants to get at you, I believe if anybody does attempt it, it'll be a professional, and it'll be somebody who has some type of level of experience in doing it, and they're going to be probably somebody that can get close enough to do something that wild. But just like it didn't take very, very much effort for the Luigi to get that CEO, he timed his whereabouts pretty well, and so he had to have known some personal things about him or learned his movements. So, you can be as careful as you want to be, but you're not always going to want anybody always watching your back every 5 seconds. And there's, times that you're going to be off to yourself, and you're going to be by yourself. If he's in a room, he's got somebody outside standing guarding the door. It's not always going to be the case. And even if you have somebody that's professional, they might be a part of the group that you think is protecting you. So I'm just saying, I feel like since he's given off so many vibes of that kind of breed enemies. And then we don't know, it could be somebody like that he's had lawsuits with. And I've heard people say that a lot of the billionaires are supporting him. The people with the money, it's about the money, following the money is what they say. They're supporting him, all these corporations, because they've got lawsuits and they want someone to support them and back them and make these lawsuits go. Hopefully they got ideas of how to make them go away. And like I said, I don't think any of this is good. I'm not in support of Donald Trump and his ideas. If it means trying to dismantle civil rights efforts, I'm not in support of that. I never was. So we'll see where this takes us, but this will be interesting to find out how long this charade, also with Elon, he's about the money. He's from South Africa. Most people weren't really aware that he's South African, and there's a whole history of racism behind what happened there. If anybody knows the history of Nelson Mandela, then you pretty much know, racism is not just here in the US. It's in other countries and other places that you wouldn't believe. So that's the thing, and people just gotta really, you gotta look these things up for what it is. But I really do believe that Nelly, like the guy said in the comment, we haven't really heard or seen him do anything recently until now. So this makes him relevant again. After all these years, not having any money or having any support of what, maybe just your old music, maybe royalties or money from that, the sales of that, which is not as great as it was back in the 80s and 90s. And now here you got to put yourself back out there, but look how they do it, anything for the money. And so yeah, I would say this is like selling out, but it's selling out for the dollar bill, or the dollars, or the hundreds, or thousands, or whatever they get paid. I know they get paid to perform at these events, and they're probably going to get paid handsomely for even speaking on Trump as if they're an ally to him instead of an enemy. So what do you feel about all of this, guys? So I'm welcome to and open to your opinions about this. Like I said, he didn't put any of his shops up or anything. His and notice, it's not to support the community, it's to basically do similar what Elon has done. Oh, buy my cars, ride around in my cars. You're not helping your consumer. You're not building wealth. Your wealth is being taken by someone who they are becoming more wealthy because you're buying their product or their brand. So you got to think about that, guys. And people that don't support your communities, they just build in your communities so that they can get money from you, is not supporting you. So buying a car from Elon Musk is, to some people they think that means we look like we have money, but no, because once you drive that car off the lot, now it depreciates in value because you're putting wear and tear on that vehicle. And from what I've heard, the electric vehicles are a lot more expensive and costly in repair, and you also have to replace that battery. Is like buying a new car when that battery is no longer. You have to replace that battery, and then I've heard some not so great comments about the car. And then because it's all electric, it's easy to catch fire in an accident. It can engulf you in flames. You don't even have time to run. Whereas the gas cars, you'd see those movies where the car is leaking gas, and then it takes a few minutes and you have a chance to try to escape before it engulfs in flames. That's not the same thing with an electric car. Electric car, as soon as they hit it, and if it goes and it explodes, that's it, and you're gone. So right along with that car. And I've heard some crazy stories about those electric cars, and I did some car shopping myself, and I started, I've been looking, and I noticed a lot of those electric cars. You'll see cars that grab your attention, and you see, wow, the mileage is really low. Let me check. What kind of car is it? Electric. People, it's secondhand, and people bring those cars back because they're not happy with them, because you got to charge them for 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, what a drag. So, that's the world we live in now. It's about, money over people. People are just getting so consumed now with what is they think is classified as having money, as opposed to they don't really have that kind of money. They can't afford those things. They want to look like they can afford it. And then you've got these billionaires, or these people who have made so much money off of people through their music, through their clothes, through their brands. And I hate to say this, guys, so you got some rappers that are doing the same thing. They're trying to use whatever brand they have, the name that's attached to whatever, to sell their product. It's about being relevant and in the money. And that's where we're headed in this. And I believe that's where all of this comes from, y'all. What do you think about this? Once again, so that's how I feel about it. Sad, but it's true. So, love you guys. Hope everybody stays safe, and we'll see where this takes us. And, I'm not surprised actually by any of this, because I feel like there's not only Snoop, but there's others out there that do the same thing. Tap dance. They tap dance. So anyway, until then.